Good morning, guys, and today I wanted to go over kind of how this all started. I always say always think about your tiny accomplishments and things like that, and today I really kind of went over where this started. Um, so for those of you who don't know, I was in a car accident after having reconstructive hip surgery. And what happened was it screwed up my SI band, which pushed it out of place, which causes severe pain throughout my entire body. Um, that being said, today, with it being cold and it about to snow, my body shuts down. I'm at about 7, 8 for pain right now, with shooting pain in my left leg and kind of walking with a limp. But I really went back today and thought about when this all jump started. And I specifically remember after months of being fed pills, given excuses as to why I'm not being helped or anything. I was told it was my fault, that I wasn't doing PT, that I wasn't changing my diet or doing anything to help the situation. So it was at a point where I lost it. I thought the pain was gonna beat me. I thought I couldn't live with it for the rest of my life. I specifically remember having a pretty much not a fight, but an argument with my brother in my room about what I'm going through and dealing with. And at that moment, I just started throwing up. I started throwing up because it was 3 days without eating. I took about 8 to 10 pills every 4 hours because they couldn't figure out where the pain was coming from, in a sense. So I'd get Vicodin for one thing, Valium for another, naproxen for another, tramadol, everything to try and hit whether it was nerve or muscle, and at that point we didn't know. So when I started throwing up, that hit me. I wasn't eating, I wasn't healthy, I wasn't okay. And this wasn't regular throw up, this was just vile. So I went to the hospital, and that's when everything hit me. It was the worst pain, it was the shakes, it was the anxiety. Going to a hospital tore me apart. It would just give me PTSD, essentially, of every situation I've already been through. And when you go there a lot and they know you by name, it's not really fun. But I specifically remember being in there and being taken care of, and they wanted me to stay the night just to control the pain and things like that and watch me. But in the morning, what kind of made me snap when I was thinking this whole time, like, I can't do this, this isn't for me, like, please just send me a sign if you want me to keep doing this. This gentleman came in and asked if I would want the morning communion. And this gentleman looked exactly like my papa. And my papa was one of my biggest supporters through hockey, through my career, through everything. And as soon as I saw him, it was a spitting image. It's something that you can't miss this sign. So since then, I've realized that's kind of why I look for signs, to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep moving on. And that day, when I flipped the switch, it made me think of everything I've been through and done and gotten through to get to that point, whether it be sports, school, friendships, everything. And I think the biggest thing when I say this is looking through your accomplishments is, at that point, I had a cane, I couldn't walk, I was taking pills every 4 hours. I wasn't myself, I couldn't control myself. I was in the worst depression state of my life. I've never felt so much pain, discomfort, and overall just depression in my life. And that's essentially why I didn't want to continue, because I didn't think it was ever going to get better. But I think it was the day after, I searched on YouTube for pain motivation. And everything that they were saying essentially was in my head. I just needed to bring it up front. I needed to be the realist I could with myself and say, okay, this is what they're saying is wrong, or what you're doing wrong. Let's change that. So, working out was the first thing. I immediately started to and changed my diet as best I could. Um, but then I started slowly running because I wanted to break free. I wanted to kind of get away from all this. So I made a goal of a 5K. Um, well, that was after I got Jax, but when down the road, when I did get Jax and he started helping me get on a routine and wake up on time and not stay in my room all the time, when I did this 5K, I realized that running was one of those things. As much pain as I was in from my hip, my back, everything, I didn't want to continue. The running would actually help me mentally. I would push like you've never seen. I'd cry through my runs. But I would just keep thinking back in the hospital bed when I saw that gentleman. It's like, okay, thank you, Papa. This is for you. I know that you're looking down on me. I know that I have a purpose. I know that there's something as to why I'm here. And those runs in the woods will always be something that I will never forget as to why I got my tattoo, as to how I have that drive of just kind of be that lone wolf and understanding I had to do this on my own. No one can help me, no one can deal with this pain like I can, so when you have those small accomplishments, you need to remember them. It was every day going from the driveway to around the block to around my neighborhood, then in the woods, then it became a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, and each day I'd make it more. When I did that 5K, I really didn't expect anything out of it. I just wanted to do it with Jax to have an accomplishment, and I ended up coming first in my age group. That surprised the hell out of me, and it's remembering those things like, holy crap, look what you did. You couldn't go up and down your driveway, you have a cane, and here you are pushing yourself past those limits where you didn't think was ever possible. You were in a hospital bed thinking, okay, this is it. And flipping the switch is something that you have to do internally. No one else can do it. You have to do it yourself, and that switch, it may feel weird at first, but you need to get real. You need to understand that what you're doing is helping yourself in the future. Your future self is going to thank you 5 years from now because of all the work you've been putting in. But don't ever think an accomplishment, whether how small it is or how great it is, doesn't matter. I had one of my friends today who, instead of doing body weight, they had weights and PT. And that's fantastic. Just those accomplishments to keep yourself going and pushing yourself and getting to another level that you didn't even think was even possible is huge. It's giving yourself that confidence, and like I said before, it's not being too cocky, it's having confidence about yourself. But there's to a point. So I think that when it's all said and done, I will always remember that lowest point to remember how bad it can really get. When I'm complaining about a day like today of how it's snowing out, I have pain down my left leg, I'm shaking, I'm having trouble breathing and talking, I always think about that lowest point where it could have all been gone. And I'm lucky it hasn't, because the amount of people I think that I've reached now is more than I ever thought. The people I've helped, the things that I've accomplished. I went to London, I went to Worlds, I won WBFF, and now I'm slowly but surely turning into a men's physique bodybuilder. And my whole thing with that is I'm handicapped and I'm doing this. No one else knows. No one knows the pain that I'm going through and the hardships and everything, but I use that to drive me, because this is only going to help. This is going to help me in every area of my life and how I attack things and how I take care of it. and keeping me on a schedule. It makes my mind understand things happen for a reason, and because these things aren't being done, this is why it's happening. Um, I'm very proud of myself. The past 2 days, I've eaten all 6 of my meals. I almost lost 2 last night for throwing up, but I held it down, and I'm very proud about that. Um, but just always remember your lowest points. Um, Always go back to that person that you never want to be again. You're trying to be a better person every single day. Uh, 2 days ago, I only got 6 meals in, and that's awesome. But yesterday, I wanted to beat that person, so I got 6 meals in and my gallon of water. And that strength, that power and drive that I got from doing all that just set it to another level. So I woke up and immediately here I am having my breakfast. And unfortunately, I have to have a bang to wake up and kind of give me an adrenaline rush. But I have the day off, thank God. But just always appreciate your tiny accomplishments that you have. Doesn't matter if people rash on you for it. Doesn't matter if it's the tiniest thing, but you gotta help yourself in these situations where you get down on yourself and you just keep thinking negatively. It's not something that you have to do. You can flip the switch. You can literally take your mind and bring it to a different area to help you gain that momentum and get going throughout the day. If
Shoot him, nigga! Come on, fucking
just remember that it's always something that you can't forget where you started. You gotta be humble. You gotta keep remembering what drove you to this point. And if you're at that point where it's the lowest, just understand that you're still here. You have a purpose. There's no reason as to why you aren't living today. You woke up and you are breathing. That's a very big thing. I woke up today and I'm lucky I don't have my cane. I'm lucky I'm not on crutches. I'm lucky I'm not in a wheelchair, and I'm lucky I'm not in a hospital bed anymore. But I think a lot of people take that for granted nowadays because they're filled with the social media and all the technology and things like that. And don't get me wrong, I have it too as I'm doing it right now. But taking yourself away from that and understanding there's a lot more to life than that is a very big thing. I stayed in pretty much the woods for months, whether it was snowing, raining, anything, and I took myself outside to really look at who I was, what I was trying to do, what my purpose was, and the amount of signs that I've seen since then is incredible. Not saying you have to be dedicated to God or anything like that. It's more or less just look around you, look at these things. Since I've started saying this to a couple people, they've told me that they've seen more and more signs, and it really does push them and motivate them and connect them to the universe in a different way, which is huge. So again, like I always say, keep killing it. Use that motivation every single day, and just keep smiling. Alright, till next time.